Alright, what's up? We're back with more of Avernum 2 Crystal Souls, so let's continue on here. We are still in the town of Avit for now because I took the time to get the ritual done, of welcoming and all the tasks covered, and of course getting the barriers down, so that's pretty much covered, but now we are going to explore the town of Avit. A Bonatai woman wanders the half-done streets of the city, seemingly lost in thought. When you approach, she stops concentrating and turns to you. She nods. Greetings, human person. I am Egli. I am pondering the problem of human persons. Why do you say human persons? There are so many persons. Bonatai persons, human persons, the Zerakai persons, Nephilim persons, goblin persons, and so on. Many are new to us. Much to learn, much for a ponder. What do you do for the Bonatai? I'm a ponder, and right now I'm pondering the human persons. What is a ponder? It is a rough translate. Yes, translate of our word for it to your talk. A ponder is a Bonatai person who watches and thinks. Our advice need not be taken, but very often should be. She can speak your tongue reasonably well. Like all the Bonatai, her voice is very soft and high-pitched. I've been before the council and gotten them to bring down the barriers. She stares intently at you. You have done much. I wish I had ponder advice for you. She thinks. No, it is strange. Your destiny is a wild one. Spins far from my vision. I will not speak. The future of you, I must not play with. Egli waits patiently for you to speak. She wears the long, billowing, slightly fluorescent wrap typical of the Bonatai. As she waits, tiny air currents cause the garment to float gently about her. Still here to help, human person? What problems do the humans cause? You were the old guy. You learn of thefts, of crimes. Work with them now. Clean crimes of human persons. My part is done. This farmer tends long, crooked rows of mushrooms. His gray skin is creased and pale, and his back is heavily bent. He wears the standard luminescent Bonatai wrap, but it is creased and dirty. He stands up straight and tightens his wrap. Me, bot. Are you a farmer? Farmer. Not no. Make food. Only me awake now. To make food for lots. Much work, but food you to buy, if you want. Sure, I want to buy some food. You recognize the mushrooms bot is selling. Happily, the fungus eaten by the Bonatai are also edible to your kind. You're the only one here who makes food? Yes, all of us being waked, but me only food maker, and work and not get full pay for it. He looks around slyly, so when me find secret, me deserve it be mine and not to Decora tell go. Yes, me tell secret for only 50 shiny things, yes? Fair for me so hard working, yes? Who is Decora tell? The Coratel our leader. She tell me to be working and food making, as it me duty, but me do more work, and me should get more. Fair, yes, me. Sure, tell me your secret. He grabs money and stores it in a pocket in his wrap. Me find scroll, magic, hidden in rubble behind me house in southwest. Good magic. Bot tugs at his torn and dirty wrap self-consciously as he speaks with you. He looks very old and tired. I'd like to know more about the Bonatai. Talk Bon Erno, center of town. Bring you here. Big brain, make me learn you talk. He talk you good. So it goes without saying that not all the Bonatai are going to be able to communicate well. Oh, and I forgot this. Split it among them. Okay. Alright, let's go up here now. This building is both a Vonatai home and a meeting place. A long stone table is surrounded by chairs and covered with papers and used mugs. This must be Avit's humble city hall. A tall Vonatai with thin gold headband stands at the head of the table. She motions for you to sit next to her. I am Takora Tell, leader woman of this village. I bid you welcome, humans. She is speaking in your tongue very deliberately and carefully. We have learned hard. Work in our learning. What is it you do? I am a Tell. She thinks. A mayor, you will call it. We have worked and built and learned hard. Prepare for your arrival. Now I'm here. You are here. Make ritual. Learn our speech. Now go to Egli, to Olgai. Spread word. Let all Vonatai see the human persons, so they get no fear or hate. As for me, she indicates papers before her. I must be back to my planning. What are you building? We Vonatai awakened out of our slumber to find lands and cities in ruins. We are working hard to build them anew. How long have all of you been slumbering? I know unexact in human time. The Vonatai now awake out of a great resting. You should speak to Bon Erno. It is his thoughts that you come here. He rests on a small island near to the east. During my journey here, I think we reawakened some Vonatai. We know of your journey. We watched you during it. Your conduct there was brave and strong. It reflected well upon you in our eyes. The Coratel sits and watches you. Her large gray eyes analyze you intently. They have no pupils. You can never tell exactly what she's focusing on. What have you been learning? We of this town are the only Vonatai who have some wish for speaking and dealing with outside human persons. It is us who have been your language learning. It's hard. We think may profit greatly. You can speak my tongue? All Vonatai of Avit speak speech from your persons. We all are allied with Bon Erno. He wanted it out of us. Speak with him of it. Much learning from him. Okay. It's in this room here. Although we can steal if she moves out of the way. You know, isn't it funny that you can steal from the Vonatai like this without any, like, repercussion? Even though you technically already... Humans have already stolen a lot from them. A Vonatai warrior rests on his delicate bed. These beings must be amazingly light for such fragile contraptions to support them. His eyes are closed and his arms cross his chest. High. He says nothing. His chest barely moves. His eyes stay closed. The Vonatai must be incredibly deep sleepers. Greetings, warrior. Can you train me? Okay, so she has no more additional dialogue, clearly. Buried in a pile of rubble, you find a leather scroll tube. Ooh, nice. It's the return live. There are all sorts of building materials here: stone blocks, tools, green tiles, cement, barrels of tar, and some wood. The Vonatai have been hard at work rebuilding this city. A Vonatai sits by the fire, carefully and quietly running a stone around the edge of a razor disc. He doesn't look up at you, and he doesn't wait for you to speak. I am Karippa, human outsider. Are you a warrior? He holds the razor disc out for a moment, then goes back to sharpening it. Can you show me how to throw a razor disc? I think, no. I am throwing these all life. I take the tip off a stalagmite at far of sight. May gods help you humans if you are guilty of the theft. His use of your tongue is awkward, but it gets the job done. He sounds as quiet and thoughtful as any other Vonatai, but he is clearly angry. I haven't stolen anything. He looks up at you. I not say. Not my job to question Bon Erno's precious peace. Go talk to him. Leave me. He returns to his work. A Vonatai warrior sits here, absorbing the heat from the fire. As you approach, she looks at your weapons with great interest. She stands and says, Welcome to our circle. I am Azik. Having introduced herself, she sits again. Why are you all sitting around the fire? We are here to defend Avit with blade and disc, weapons of Vonatai persons. I'd like to know more about your weapons. Our weapons are different from yours. I would like to learn to use one of your swords one day, even though they are clumsy. My weapon might be clumsy, but it gets the job done. Yes, they look like they work. Our weaponsmith curved our blades to show their skill. The finer the curves, the greater the smith. At times, I'm not sure it is wise. A fine wave blade takes long to make. Avit continues to concentrate on your weapon. She stares at it with blank, inscrutable eyes. Whether she is trying to figure out what it would be like to use your blade or how she could best kill someone wielding it, you can't tell. You are a warrior of the Vonatai people? Yes, you have fought our warriors. That is what they say. Your journey here was watched from afar. We know you were forced to fight the people. It was interested to see how we fought against you. They were mighty warriors. It was an honor to do battle with them. Kind of you to say. Your kind-making words is noted. A Vonatai warrior sits warming herself at the fire. She often turns to look for creatures approaching the town. You introduce yourself. She says, I am called Stall, and words of human persons means swift. What are your responsibilities? I'm one of the too few guards for Avit. We keep always watch for attack. Who would want to attack Avit? The Hellhounds and Chitracks have not learned we are in a home. Just few can do great damage if we not stop them. All of your cities are in ruins? Yes, but we are making new our cities. Brick and brick and home. It will not take Chitrack to stop us. What can you tell me about the Hellhounds and Chitrack? Hellhounds are big and strong, but clumsy and dumb. Real danger is a Chitrack. If we don't watch, a swarm could easily destroy a whole village. You not have the foul Chitrack in your lane in big numbers. You are lucky. She returns to scanning Avit's surroundings with fresh enthusiasm. You leave her to her task. A Vonatai warrior, Wayblade at the ready, sits staring into the fire. His head is cocked as if he's listening to something far away. You ask his name. He whispers so that you can barely hear, Ife. Are you looking for something? Quiet. I'm searching. Sorry, you whisper. Searching for what? We take turns listening. More useful than sight. Don't talk to me, human. Must be safe. He looks away. There is a small dock here with a ferry set up to carry you across the water and back. The boat is of the same style as the craft which carried you to Vonatai lands. There is a Vonatai ferryman standing by the craft. He says, round trip, 5 coins. You are carried across the water. The journey is an awkward and silent one. The ferryman is clearly not pleased to have humans aboard. When you reach for the iron gate, a force pushes your hand back so sharply that your wrist gets sprained a little. The gate has strong magical protection. You are currently unable to get in this way. A Vanatai guard seems mostly at attention. When you try to speak with him, he ignores you. Alright. Like to explore the outside as always. The Vanatai are obsessed with crystals. They surround themselves with them, work magic with them, and collect and work with them constantly. You have entered an elaborate workshop, used to take raw quartz and process it. Crystals made and shaped here are used for magic and to create coffins for sick and dying Vanatai to hibernate in. There are a pile of quartz chunks and racks of tools everywhere, and stone dust stings your eyes. This cabinet contains crystals, some rough, some polished, some carved with intricate patterns. None of them look valuable to you, but your people don't revere crystals nearly as much as the Vanatai do. The Vanatai's robes are cinched in at the waist by a tool belt and covered with a thick layer of quartz dust. He is currently buffing down a sheet of blue, translucent stone. He nods when you enter. I am Lith. Welcome to my workshop. What do you do here in Egli? I'm a crystal smith. It is hard work, but necessary and honored. He holds a sheet of bluestone up to the light, looking for flaws. What is the bluestone for? He looks at the sheet with pride. This will one day be part of a cabinet in which aging or ill Vanatai are frozen. Similar cabinets now hold most of our tribe, but not for long. He smiles. Some call them coffins as a joke, but they are as much the opposite as they can be. Lith sets his work aside to talk to you. The dust in the air is making your eyes bother, but he doesn't seem the least bit bothered. What does a crystal smith make? I create spirit prisms and crystal soul vessels, two cores of Vanatai magic. What is the difference between a crystal prism and a crystal soul? Crystal souls are the physical manifestation of our spirits. They are what was stolen from us. Spirit prisms are what we store life energy in. To ever perform any of our special magics, you will need one. One called Abra maybe said he would give you one, but he had to leave. Maybe you should find him. Where can I find Abra? He had to go to the southeast to reawaken more Vanatai. Difficult but rewarding work. You might explore the caves there. I believe there is a resting cell south of Mancuso. So you make crystal souls. No, but I make the vessel. Then when one is so honored as to be stored in long life, a ritual is performed to move the spirit of the lost into the stone. Do you have any magical crystals I could purchase? Lith sells both raw and finished crystals. There's a dizzying variety and the glittering of ray. Your kind does most with magic with crystal and stone, correct? That is so. We are practical people. We work with things that are close to hand. There is nothing more common here than stone. Okay, now I would select this option, which would give me a quest to find a Black Drake Fang, and there are 3 people in the game, 3 characters in the game that would require Black Drake Fang, but there are only a total of 2. So if you accept this quest, then... Well, let me go back. There are 3 people total in the game that will require Black Drake Fang to complete, but there are only 2 total that you will be able to find. So you can choose which ones to give it to, and one will have to be left out. Now, from what I remember from this, the Bonatai does not give as good of a reward as the other two. So I'm going to go ahead and just ignore this option to accept the quest from him, because I'm going to give the Black Drake Fang to the other two. But if you want to accept this quest and give him the Black Drake Fang, you can. But there are only 2 total in the game, so if out of the 3 you will have to leave, 1 will have to miss out. So it's kind of like, well, what reward do you want, basically? So I'm not going to give it to him. I'm going to give the Black Drake Fangs to the other 2 characters when that time comes. So that's why I'm not going to accept that quest. I don't need anything. I am pleased you came to visit. Goodbye. I wonder if we can crack this with the... Oh snap, we could. You find a small crystal case, like the Bonatai use for storing personal effects. This particular box has a lot of small markings on it. You don't understand them. You open the case and are greeted by a bewildering pile of small vials and jars. Their labels indicate they are filled with all manner of pungent and rare magical reagents, none of which you have any idea how to use. Alright, nothing there, but we can take all this stuff here. The box contains some Bonatai's personal effects. The creatures live Spartan lifestyles. There are a few robes and some minor possessions, nothing valuable. There is a Bonatai woman sitting cross-legged on a carpet, staring deeply into a large, glowing crystal. The room is very warm. Hi. She ignores you. Motes of light float from her eyes into the crystal. Other, smaller motes float back. You start to speak to her, but note her furious concentration and stop. Interrupting magical rituals is a dangerous business. Okay, so same dialogue. Okay, not high enough tool use. I'm actually not going to worry about that switch because that's going to come into play later. And we'll just leave us at a awkward point anyway. This Bonatai is carrying a large bowl of pungent and gray liquid. When you approach, he bows to you. A little of the fluid in the bowl spills over onto the floor. He pushes his robe into the fluid with his foot to mop it up. I am Crean, he finally says. I am being clumsy. You seem to be having some problems. I am filled with fatigue. That is why I am spilling. I have many jobs to do, and the mages are too high up and busy to help me. Too much cooking and working. Is that food you are carrying? He looks at you with irritation. Yes, I am the cook and custodian for Egli at the moment. It's difficult to manage all this by myself. I've already spent too much time trying to get the mages to wake someone to help me. Why haven't they already awoken an assistant for you? Many of us are still in the resting, sleeping in their crystals. Waking them all and rebuilding our cities are enormous jobs. The most important of the people get woken first, but some not so important ones need to be woken too. Yes. May I taste your soup? He proffers a bowl. Here, taste some of the broth. You do. It's vile and nasty. He notes your reaction. It doesn't taste very good. Trust me, it tastes no better to us than you. The mages woke many warriors and like, but very few people to simply keep things functioning. He holds up the broth proudly. But if this doesn't get them to wait help for me, nothing will. One of the human mages eagerly approaches you. Welcome, human outsiders. I heard of your arrival. I am Clodeca, an apprentice of Egli. He wears a typical glowing robe and scant clothing underneath and carries a double armload of scrolls. What sort of research are you doing? Nothing of great import. I am still only an apprentice here. He indicates the scrolls. I have much to study. What are you studying? The first principles only. I'm a new apprentice, not a crystal to my name. For now, I spend my time on these herb catalogs. He looks at the scrolls with distaste. What are crystals used for? We Vonatai perform most of our magic through crystals. We store power in them and draw the power back. The more powerful we are, the more crystals we gain, and vice versa. I'm interested in the herb catalog. What sorts of herbs are here? He emits a Vonatai sigh, a long, painful hiss of air from between clenched teeth. In the storerooms here, we have samples of every herb, lichen, mold, moss, mushroom, and other plant ever found in these caves, powerful or not, rare or not. I keep track of what is where and how fresh. It is both time-consuming and worthless. Looking for anything? I could use things for making potions. Oh, as much as I want to help you, I can't give you any of that. We're having troubles reclaiming our lands from the cave hounds and chitracks after the resting. We need the potions for our warriors. Apologies. What are those scrolls? He showed you one. It is a list of different sorts of fungi with notes about descriptions and magical properties, bestiaries, biological notes, and so on. Knowing of the flora and fauna of these caves is a matter of great import for us. How long will your apprenticeship last? I'm progressing quickly. My teachers are happy with my skills, so my learning will probably only take 20 years or so. Another piercing crystal. An aged Vonatai is sitting here, polishing an intricately carved piece of smoky quartz. His skin is a very dull, dusty gray with many flecks of black. He wears a silver headband. He takes a break from his work when you enter. I am Avernum, the leader of this settlement. I welcome you to Egli. I am willing to teach you to bring our peoples together. Are you all right? You have some black specks on your skin. It comes to all of our kind with age. Does not the skin of your kind change with age? Can you help me? I am the Erno here, the speaker of Egli. Bon Erno has spoken to me, saying we are to offer your help and information. What is an Erno exactly? An Erno is a leader of mages, a Vonatai skilled in the magical arts who speaks for the others of our kind. I am in charge of this place of learning. Erno looks up at you, watching you closely. The crystal he was working on hums softly on his table. Are you here for learning? I would like to learn from you. Yes, Bon Erno thinks you are beings of honor, though I am filled with anger at your kind. I am filled with respect for Bon's judgment. I can offer you knowledge of our magical ways. I can also help with understanding us. However, I cannot guarantee Rentar Erno will help you, I am afraid. I like to learn some Vonatai magic. Sinnoh has agreed to teach you a small amount of our magic, both out of a desire to share and so you can grasp some of our power. Before troubling Sinnoh, be sure to speak with Lith. He can tell you of the importance of crystals to us. I want to know more about the Vonatai. Yes, knowing the customs of the other is a path to understanding. We Vonatai believe in the trading of knowledge. It creates respect for the teachers. I will tell you some of our lore for 300 coins. I want to learn. Erno takes the coins and, in return, tells you many little details of Vonatai life in the caves. They are very reverent of these chambers and the life forms in them. Life in the caves is a fragile thing, and it is very easy to run out of food. The lesson ends with the warning: beware. If too many humans and other outsiders come down here, you will soon find that you lack enough to eat. Who is Rentar Erno? He shakes his head. Rentar is the greatest of our of the Ernos awake. She created the berries in your land, and she has no love of humans at this point. She has agreed not to harm you, but I don't think she will give you much aid. I would like to speak with Rentar Erno. Erno pauses and thanks. She has asked me not to help you speak with her, and I have agreed. He thanks more, but if you ask others here, they might be able to tell you how to reach her. I am not the only one who knows. You take note of this. Okay, so that's going to come into play later. Rentar Erno is definitely not going to talk to us at this point. But it is something we will keep in mind in the meantime. And the Vonatite lore, by the way, will count as an extra level of arcane lore, so there is that plus. Buying that. There is a astute Vonatite male pacing around this lecture hall. He walks around while reading a scroll. Even though he doesn't seem to be aware of his surroundings, he definitely steps around chairs and away from walls. When you get close, he looks up at you. Welcome, humans. He pauses a moment to verify you understand his speech. I am Seno, an honored teacher. What might your job be here? I'm an instructor. I teach the magical arts to visitors, even you. Many Vonatite hate my kind. Why will you teach me? It is not an issue without argument. Some of us hate you, some of us don't. I am of the faction that believes you are not part of the aliens that defiled our lands. Because of this, I will aid you. Perhaps you can help us recover our lost crystal souls. What do you teach? I instruct visitors in the powerful Vonatite magical arts. In return, we of Egli request coins and materials we can use to continue our researches. Let me know if you want to if you wish to purchase spells. By the way, to use the spells I can teach you, you will need a spirit prism. How developed is your magic? We Vonatite haven't the physical strength of your people, but our magical skills are greatly advanced. And where would I get a spirit prism? Go speak with Lith. He is Egli's crystal smith. A spirit prism? What is that? Do not confuse a spirit prism with a crystal soul. A crystal soul is a valued Vonatite soul made into physical form to guide us after death. A spirit prism is a crystal magically altered to accept and store the vibrations and energies of life. It is possible to take part of the life force of another creature and store it in a spirit prism. It does not hurt the being being touched in this way, and the life energy can then be studied. Seno seems eager to return to his scroll, but he is also interested in talking to aliens. He watches you curiously, waiting to see what else you have to say. What might be your job here? Can you teach me some of your magic? Yes, but only if you have a spirit prism. You would need to find Lith and convince the crystal worker to give you one. What are you reading? He shows it to you. It is from Avernum. It looks like a work of fiction, a very body work of fiction. I'm trying to learn about the humans. This scroll interests me. It seems to be describing a very complicated magical ritual. Not quite. Maybe it's your imagination or a trick of the light, but you would swear that Seno turns pale. I see. Humans are very, very interesting. Warlord. There is a Vonatite sitting at the table, grinding up some lichen. He nods to you when you approach. I am called Oratim, aliens. Welcome to my shop. I sell potions and I buy goods. I would like to sell something. Yeah, we need to get all the stuff out of our thing. What are you making? Indicate shelves heavily laden with vials, pouches, and bowls of viscous sludge. I create potions and other magical substances for my fellow mages. If you have any valuables, I can purchase them as well. Supplies have been short since the awakening, and there is a demand for alien artifacts. What are your fellow mages working on? We mages of Egli work hard to rebuild our lands after the resting, and to defend our kind from our enemies. Who are your enemies? Right now, the human invaders who stole our ancestors are our enemies, and when they are found, vengeance will be unavoidable. Then we will deal with those who stole our land. Who stole your land? You do not know? I will only say that, when we awoke, we found your land of Avernum sitting in many caves once ours. Oratim continues to chop and grind herbs and fungal growth. Some of them are familiar to you, some of them aren't. Some of them move under their own power. Can I purchase a potion? Oratim promises you to only sell you potions non-poisonous to humanity. Okay, so he has a few potions we could take if we want. I don't need anything. All right, outsider. You know what? Let me go ahead and accept the Vonatai quest here, just so we have it in my journal for you all to see. But I still think I'm gonna give the Black Drake Fang to the other two people rather than him. Do you ever work magic with anything else? I am glad that you asked that. I have heard that in your lands, certain drakes are born with the black fang, shiny like onyx or a similar stone. I would gladly reward you well if you could recover one of those for me. And ultimate, we will get around to like Rentar and stuff like that when we can, but now is not the time for that. In the meantime, let's go ahead and head down here. This is yet another large ruin. This village was a home for hundreds of Vonatai a few centuries ago. Most of the place is rubble now, but an intact road still runs through the center. There is a lone Vonatai waiting here, contemplating these ruins. Perhaps he is determining how they will be best rebuilt. He sits in a stone camp set alongside the ruins of a huge stone hall. The Vonatai wears a large redstone on a silver chain around his neck. It looks valuable. He waits for you to approach. It's definitely not going to be wise to rob him, so let's just approach and talk. You approach to speak with him. He says, "Welcome, stubby aliens. I have heard of your arrival. I am Zalav Ta. I have been hoping you would come and visit me here. Tell me of yourselves and your journey." You speak with him for some time. He seems eager to hear of your travels and of all the human customs you are willing to describe. He seems tight-lipped, however, about Vonatai customs. You ask him about his people, and he says, "Well, I am honored that you wish to learn of us. The honorific Ta, following my name, means I am a learned one, a teacher. If you wish to receive lessons of my people, I would be honored to give them. For 1,000 coins, Zalav Ta will teach you the lore of the Vonatai. Do you accept?" You pay Zalav Ta. He sits you down and spends several hours describing the strange customs and tales of the Vonatai. It is truly fascinating. Hopefully this information will be of value in the future. Alright, and this is the last, second to last place we're going to explore before we head back to Avernum, but I am going to save the game right here, and I'll see you all soon with the next part.